How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to some CMT Sports. Today we're here reviewing some of the new retro jerseys that the NHL came up with. So no gameplay today for you guys, but yeah, something new and something different. So me and Jacob are gonna give our rankings for all of these from 31st to 1st, and we're gonna start at number 31.
So, worst jersey out of all the retro jerseys is probably the New York Islanders. Libra and I had this one in the same spot. Why is it so bad? Just because it's the same thing. It doesn't really change much. There's so many classic Islanders logos they could have went with, and they didn't really change anything.
Yeah, like the Fisherman, they could have went with that. But yeah, it's basically just a darker blue, and the colors are flip-flopped. But yeah, that's about it. Next, for Jacob's list,
we have the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, it's I get what they're trying to do here. They're trying to go with that classic Red Wings look. But just like the Islanders one, they didn't really choose one of those logos that really was like a classic logo. That's why I had this one so low. To be honest, the last 5 or 6 on my list could have been flip-flopped anyway. They're all pretty garbage. So I have this one at 30 just because it's really plain. They could have done so much more with the design, and the logo is the exact same logo we have in modern times.
all right, my number 30 is the Dallas Stars. Such a disappointment. They could have done so much more with this logo and this jersey style. I mean, I like it, the overall look, like the star, the retro, like I get it. But the white on white and the very faint gold written, stars, it's pretty bad. You can barely see it. I don't think it's that great. So yeah, let's move on to number 29.
So number 29, I have Edmonton Oilers. Also, I see they try to go with like more of a cream color instead of the bright orange they have now. But just like Islanders, just like Detroit, it looks the exact same. I mean, Oilers are a historic franchise. They could have done a lot of classic looks, but it's just the same.
So my number 29 is going to be Detroit Red Wings. So basically, just like Jacob said, it's fairly plain, all white. The gray, I mean, I get it. They're going again with that retro look, but they could have used a different logo, change it up a bit, and do something better.
So at number 28, we have the Philadelphia Flyers. Once again, I can kind of see where they're going with the classic look. It does look like one of the older jerseys. However, I wish they went a little bit further back. These are retro jerseys. I don't expect it to be something I saw 10 years ago. I expect it to be something I've never seen before, as I'm only 25-ish. So I see they tried to do a little bit different with the design, but, color scheme, super similar, logo, exact same.
So my number 28 is the Edmonton Oilers. Just like Jacob said, fairly simple, nothing changed. They just flip-flopped the colors, added the orange on top. It looks like their regular jersey, just a little bit different. It's nothing crazy. They could have done so much more. They could have done like that teardrop looking oil drop, that thing. They could have done that. Something different, but it's all the same.
So my number 27 is the Winnipeg Jets. Also kind of see what they're trying to go for with the classic look, but the color scheme just doesn't really work for me. It just looks too plain. That dark gray in the back, just, I don't know, it makes it look like one of those jerseys that you created in like an eShul game mode. You just kind of slapped on some colors and said, that's it. So I think they could have done more with design-wise here, maybe, a different logo, but overall it's too plain in terms of a color scheme for me.
All right, my number 27 for this pick is the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, again, it is a classic logo. They've had it before, very old school, but it's not my favorite logo. It's too childish. It's too much going on. It's huge. It's across the entire freaking jersey. The stick looks like a boomerang. It's just not working for me. But yeah, overall, it's not that great.
So my number 26 is the Nashville Predators. I also see this one as, I understand it's a classic kind of look for them, but also it's not far back enough for me. Like I said before, retro for me is further back than 10 years, 20 years ago. And this is just not as retro as I would like it to be. So it's up there a little bit more than the other few just because of that reason. But otherwise, it's still very plain like as they've had in the past.
All right, my number 26 is the Winnipeg Jets. Just kind of like Jacob said, it's fairly plain. I think the gray's a little too dark. They could have went maybe a little lighter. But what I would have done is made it like a blue and flipped it with the gray. Hopefully that would have been a little bit nicer. again, it's too plain for me.
So my next one is the Vancouver Canucks. I see they were trying to go classic old school with that gradient. Unfortunately for me, gradient just does not look nice with that logo. I think it could have looked nicer if they chose kind of maybe a different alternate color scheme or even an older logo. But just with that logo and that color scheme, the gradient does not work for me.
All right, for number 25 for me, it is the Philadelphia Flyers. Just like Jacob mentioned, it is fairly plain and nothing really new. Same logo, just a different little color scheme. Color scheme's the same, different little pattern around the sleeve I see. But yeah, it's nothing much going on, nothing new, nothing really retro.
Alright, and for number 24, how convenient we put number 24 with the Christmas Devils, because that's exactly what it is. I mean, for me, I didn't see much retro in this one. I just saw, an alternate color scheme, and it literally looks like a Christmas tree to me.
All right, number 24 for me is the San Jose Sharks. They went with that retro logo. I like that. But other than that, I mean, the gray's okay. Not my favorite. I really like the black one they have more. But yeah, nothing crazy going on here again. Not my favorite, so it's lower on the list.
Alright, so the next one we have is number 23 with the Canadiens, and kind of similar to what we said with the Devils one. It's just a color scheme that just has never had anything to do with the Canadiens. I think it's to me it's like a wannabe Toronto, and that's just why I have it here down at 23.
All right, my number 23 is the Ottawa Senators. Again, it's basically the same thing they just came up with their new logo. It's just the colors are flipped. Instead of it being all black, it's all red with black stripes. Nothing crazy.
My number 22 is the Dallas Stars. Similar to some of the things Libra said, the thing I did like about it is the fact that they did use that older logo. And you kind of see they were going for some kind of alternate scheme and whatnot, but there's just too much white and the colors don't work. So it was a good effort, but whoever decided on the colors, that person should be fired.
All right, for number 22 for me, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. People are going to be making jokes out there that they look like they're from Walmart out there. Again, it's not my favorite. It's fairly simple, super plain. The letters look like they're written by a toddler. But yeah, overall, not my favorite, like the rest of them at the bottom of the list.
Number 21, I have the San Jose Sharks. I do like that classic logo, and I kind of like the scheme as well. It does look kind of retro in terms of the design. However, the colors are just, it's kind of plain, but, it's San Jose, so I didn't really expect much from them anyways.
All right, number 21 for me is the Boston Bruins. I do like the color and kind of like the striping. I think it works. But again, it looks very similar to their jersey now, and you can't see it on this picture, but the bear on the side looks hilarious, like he's on meth, so that's dropping them on this.
Alright, number 20, I have the Minnesota Wild. I do like the fact they tried to go for alternate color schemes. However, I wish they used the Minnesota North Stars logo. I think that would have made it so much higher on my list. So, nice try for colors. Unfortunately, it does look like a lot like Subway. If anyone's seen that little thing where they put Subway's logo instead of Minnesota, it's hilarious. It looks perfect ad for them.
For number 20, I did put the Nashville Predators. I liked it enough to put it higher on the list. I wish they used the old school saber-tooth logo. That one was pretty scary. But I do like the shininess on the shoulders. It's a classic. I know Nashville hasn't been around the league too long, so it's a classic for them.
Alright, and now starting, or I guess the second one in the top 20 would be the Ottawa Senators. And this would have been higher on the list had they not just released new jerseys with that old classic logo. So it's kind of unfortunate timing. It's just a reverse of the colors with that retro logo, so it is retro, but it gets minus points for the fact that they literally just released the similar jersey.
All right, my number 19, the New Jersey Devils. The Christmas tree is here, perfect for the holidays. I think I like it just because it is their original color was the green. That's why it's higher on my list. They did go retro, but it's not my favorite color scheme.
All right, number 18, we both actually had the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I'll start just by saying it's missing a lot for me. I wish they could have used some kind of old logo like that, the old Penguin style logo. But it is retro, so it does get higher than a lot of these older ones. But unfortunately, it's just missing too much for me.
Yeah, kind of like Jacob said, I don't really like the sideways Pittsburgh. I mean, again, that is one of their classic logos, but it seems a little plain for me, especially around the shoulder area.
All right, number 17, I have the Ducks. It is a classic logo, classical colors, but it's got too much going on in that logo, and it's missing too much on the top. It's just got too much empty space, and it's causing some problems. So I do like the effort for going retro, but at the same time, it's missing a lot for me to be one of the top tiers. I wish they would have been a little bit simpler.
For number 17, I chose the Montreal Canadiens. They didn't really do much with the flipping of the colors from the blue to the red. Like Jacob kind of said, it does look like Toronto Maple Leafs. A lot of teams use red and blue in their jerseys. But I still think it works reversed.
All right, number 16, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. The logo does kind of look retro-y, where the fonts kind of suck, but at the same time, I think they could have done more. It's a historic original 6 franchise, so I'm not a big fan of the light gray, but it's got the classic Toronto colors. I like the kind of effort to go old.
All right, for number 16, I have the St. Louis Blues. I do like the styling of this jersey. I think it's pretty retro. It looks pretty cool. They did just come up with the same basically jersey, just flipped not too long ago. So I do like the styling, and I think it does work pretty well with the red as the primary color.
All right, first one in the top 15 is the Boston Bruins. I chose this one just because it's got, you can see the alternate colors, it's a different kind of yellow, and it's got the effort of being more retro, and it's got that old little janky ass bear on the shoulder patch, like Libra said. But it's missing a little bit more from me to be able to count as a higher tier jersey.
All right, number 15 for me is the Columbus Blue Jackets. I do really like that retro logo that they're using and the green stick. I think it works. The only thing that I didn't really like about it is the all white around, like towards the arms and shoulders. That kind of threw me off, but overall I did like it, especially the stars on the bottom of the arm. It is kind of like Washington's Capitol jersey, which can get confusing.
All right, so number 14 for me is the Carolina Hurricanes. They did go with the classic Hartford Whalers, so I do appreciate that. But at the same time, it looks really similar to what the Hartford Whalers had, so I wish they kind of changed it up as they were going for retro with changes. So points for retro, minus points for changes.
All right, number 14 for me is the Buffalo Sabres. I do like the Sioux Sabres logo. I wish they kind of went with the old school Buffalo that they had back in the day. I don't mind the new colors compared to the retro colors.
All right, the next one here on the list is number 13, and we have the Vegas Golden Knights. And unfortunately, they're a new franchise, so I don't give them points for not going retro. They chose an alternate logo, so I do like where they're going. They got that retro feel. It almost looks like the old Vancouver Canucks jerseys. I just don't love that logo. It kind of looks too modern to me, so I wish they kind of chose a more retro feel. But they're a newer franchise, so it's hard for them to have that in there.
All right, number 13 is the Chicago Blackhawks. This is a great logo. I really like that, but I don't like the jersey styling around it. It kind of looks like the Chicago Steel. I'll put that on the screen so you guys can see what it looks like, but it's just a simple jersey. I mean, even our Lewis hockey jerseys look the same.
And number 12, I did put the Blackhawks there. I do like the going back to the old logo. That was great, but as Libor said, it's just missing too much in terms of design. It looks very basic, and they could have done so much more.
For number 12, I chose the Vancouver Canucks. I think the gradient does work. I think it's different. Not a lot of teams have it, and it is part of their history. They had basically the gradient with, I think it was like a maroon. So it kind of ties in their new colors and the new logo, or the original logo that they had.
Number 11, we have the Florida Panthers. We both chose it for our 11th place. And it's got that classic Florida logo. They changed their logo not too long ago. So I like them going back to that retro feel. It's got a retro feel to the jersey. And overall, I liked it pretty much. It's why it's this high on the list.
Yeah, same for me. I like the classic look. It looks like their old school jersey. I think the little gold stripe as well, that all works. And it's a typical Florida vibe.
All right, and starting off the top 10 for me is the Columbus Blue Jackets. Unlike Libor, I do like white. I think it's kind of hard to tell just because there's the white background, plus we don't really see what kind of pants they have. But I think this white on red would work. I like that logo too. I think it's got a nice retro feel to them. So overall, I like this jersey, and that's why it's in the top 10 for me.
All right, my top 10 starts with the Washington Capitals. I do like that retro logo and the overall retro look of the jersey. I think it works. I just wish they went with the black and gold. I wish they used the old State Capitol building logo. That would have been pretty cool as well. But overall, this is a great jersey.
All right, for number 9, I have the Arizona Coyotes. I like that they went with the retro look, chose a little bit different coloring. I really like the little desert at the bottom there too. So overall, it was a great jersey. I just wish they did a little bit more with the design up top. But overall, that's why it's in the top 10.
All right, number 9 for me is the Carolina Hurricanes. I really love the Hartford Whalers jerseys, so this is really high on my list. They do already currently have a Hartford Whalers jersey, but I do like that they went with the gray look. I think it looks very clean, and it really works, and that's why it's in my top 10.
Alright, so at number 8, I have the Buffalo Sabres. This is the classic Buffalo jersey that they've had. They could have gone a lot of different ways with this. They had that old Bison logo too. This would have been higher on my list. I really like this jersey had they used older colors too. I think the red and black just works better. I understand they were going for modern colors with an old design, so I appreciate that. That's why it's still in my top 10, but I just think the old jersey just looks so much better with that red and black.
All right, for me, number 8 is the Minnesota Wild. Again, I do like the Minnesota Wild logo, and I kind of like that they changed the colors, but kept the Minnesota North Star colors. I think it works. Overall, I think it looks very clean. Maybe it's a little simple, but I really like that logo in the middle, and that's why it's at number 8.
All right, my number 7 is the St. Louis Blues. I just think this jersey has a really nice retro feel. I know it's really just reverse colors of their old retro, but I'm just glad they chose a retro logo, retro feeling looking design, and that's why it's this high on my list.
All right, number 7 on my list is the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think that old school logo looks pretty cool. They went with the overall old school jersey look. 2 things that I don't really like about it is the white stripe is a little bit too big, but I know that's how it is on the original jersey. And another thing that I don't like, which is also on the original jersey, is the 2 different fonts. It can get distracting once you notice it.
So I have the Lightning at number 6, and a lot of the reasons Libra doesn't like, I kind of do like, because it gives it that retro feel. Retro was really big, obnoxious features for no reason. So I like the fact that that stripe at the bottom is so big, and I also like the fact that the fonts are 2 different things, because people were dumb back then. They had no eye for design, so it's nice that they kind of highlighted that.
All right, number 6 on my list is the New York Rangers. I really like that logo. It's one of my favorite New York logos, and I like that dark navy blue. Another thing they could have done to make it better is add a little bit more to it. It seems kind of plain other than those 2 little stripes on the arms. But overall, I love this jersey.
Starting off my top 5 is this New York Rangers jersey. Just like Libra said, I love this New York Rangers logo. It looks really plain, but I think for the Rangers, just because the logo is so prominent, it kind of works. So that's why I really like this one, and I do like the kind of older crests on the shoulders as well.
All right, number 5 for me is the Vegas Golden Knights. I think they did a great job using that 3rd logo. I really like it. The V shape kind of makes me think Vegas because of their name. But overall, I think they did a great job for being such a young team in the league. And it's my favorite team.
Number 4 for both of us is the Calgary Flames. I love that logo. I think it's awesome. I think it's got that retro Flames feel. I like the white-out shoulder patch too. I wish they did a little bit different design. There's a little too much black, but overall, I love this jersey.
Yeah, this is why it's number 4 for me as well. I think the logo is amazing. I don't like is it's a little too black on top. I wish they added a little something there, but overall it looks great. It can get a little confusing with the skate from Vancouver, so the colors are very similar. But overall, a very nice jersey.
So also, we both have the LA Kings for number 3. Similar to the Tampa Bay, you have that really big kind of prominent stripes, and I just love this color scheme for the Kings. It kind of just screams like King colors, this purple and gold. So I think it's great. It's got that classic Laker colors, and they got that old crown there at the bottom of the logo too.
Yeah, just like Jacob said, this is one of my favorites. That's why it's top 3. I really like the color scheme. I like this more than the Tampa Bay because they have the white stripe above the yellow stripe again, so it kind of evens it out. But overall, amazing jersey.
All right, number 2, one of my top 2 jerseys was the Washington Capitals. I really like that logo. I love that kind of just Capitals across the top, or bottom, excuse me, and this little kind of V shape too. It just works for me. It screams retro, and I just love it.
All right, my number 2 on the list is the Colorado Avalanche. I love that old school logo, the Nordiques logo. It looks amazing. The colors are great. The only thing that was bothering me is they could have done more on the sleeves. It's a little bit too white for me, but overall, I really love this jersey.
So the Avs jersey is actually my number 1. It was my favorite just because, as I've said before, I really love white jerseys when you can make them work, and I think they did great here just because that maroon, or really brings out burgundy, whatever the hell you want to call it, really brings out the white. I love the classic Nordiques logo, and I also love those little like French crests at the bottom, just kind of giving a nod to Quebec. So this jersey just works perfectly for me, and I think it's retro. It's perfect.
And number 1 on my list is the Arizona Coyotes. I think these jerseys are awesome. I really like this purple. It works great with like the orangish color. The old school dog logo is there. The cactuses over there as well. And the black, I think it all ties in really good. And it's one of my favorite jerseys, and that's why I made it at number 1. So overall, I think all these jerseys are pretty cool. I can't wait to see what they look like with the full set with helmet, pants, and gloves. I think this might change our opinions when we see the full, set on the ice, how everything looks together. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And if you guys want to give us your list or tell us what your favorite jerseys are, make sure you guys leave a comment. And we'll see you guys in the next video.